Today I'm going to talk about the two main types of Kundalini awakening, and within this video I'm also going to explain the awakening process that has two very different directions. This video is based on my most significant Kundalini awakening that happened over 6 years ago, nearly 7 now, and I had many smaller ones ever since. And the most recent one that was very different, and that's why I can say there are two very different ones with two very different outcomes, happened just a couple of months ago. And I'm also going to explain how they feel like, how they look like. So the very first big duality in Kundalini awakening is there is a temporary one and there is a permanent one. In my video I'm going to talk about the permanent one, but I really want to point out the temporary one as well, that many people do, and many people talk about that they can achieve with different practices. And it's kind of the Kundalini line is in the middle of you. I keep referring to it as two opposite energies going against each other because I could feel it. And I also believe these are data brainwaves, and this is in the second dimension because it can be clearly felt, but you cannot see it visually. And many people achieve this with different practices like Kundalini yoga, but the problem with it is that they only achieve, in my opinion, manipulating the energies, but there is no permanent change within them, and that's why I call it temporarily Kundalini awakening. And now I'm going to talk about the permanent one that changes you, that integrates you. And this is the most important part. We have to understand these two opposite ways that the Kundalini energy works. That's also within you. These two energies go against each other. You can clearly feel it. And they are supposed to do two very different things in order to integrate you. And this is where the problem is, that many people see as moving forward is uniting things, making things whole, and integrating the repressed parts by accepting what is not within. But the second type of Kundalini awakening, that is the most recent one, there's something very, very different. It is also important to integration. This is actually coming from interpersonal neurobiology as well, that in order to integrate something, first you have to take it apart. And this is going to be the second type of Kundalini awakening that feels different, and it has a very different purpose. And it also made me understand many things that I was able to experience before, but I didn't understand the meaning of them. And in this video, I try to put all of these parts together. So during my very first Kundalini awakening, I'm going to leave a link below to that video. I made it several years ago. What I did, I integrated two different parts. And this is what is very important. And many people, I don't believe they see it, that it's not about that you are here and then you try to find another part and you accept it and you integrate it. It's that first you have to disintegrate. First you have to change. First you have to be your own opposite. You have to basically split. You have to become, you have to embody that version of yourself that you haven't been before. So I'm saying it that you haven't been before because maybe, for example, you're a very, very emotional person, then you have to become a more head type person. But the other version is that maybe you were, or you are a head type person, this is who I used to be, and then you connect back to your repressed self. So this is going to be different. That in order to become a head type person, you have to repress the emotional part. So in terms of doing this, you have to become who you used to be. So basically, you have these two adult or adultish versions in terms of energy, and embodiment in you, and it's going to change you. You are going to have this newer version of yourself, very, very different, because you already have an adult version of something else that is your own opposite. But the problem is that in order to become this new version of yourself, you had to repress whoever you were as an adult version. And the key here is that these two parts are, you have to imagine it as they are in an unconscious state. That there is an unconscious emotional self that connects to an unconscious head part. And also you have another type of unconscious emotional self that connects to a different part of the brain. And that's why these two versions of yourself seem so different. You seem that you changed a lot and you are completely different from the version you used to be. But the reality is that in order to integrate, you have to let this original self to wake up. You have to accept it. You have to see them as equal and equally important. You have to recall the energies. You have to recall those memories, how you felt, what you did, why you did, and you have to see both versions of yourself exactly at the same time. You have to feel them exactly at the same time and realize what is the core, what is the similarity, what is the exact sameness. And as soon as you see that, you will be able to see it from your head. You will be able to integrate them. And this is going to cause a type of Kundalini awakening that connects the energies. And the Kundalini awakening feels that the energy goes up, because this type of energy connects to others, basically. The energy that keeps going up connects to others. And when we think about in terms of infinity, infinity goes two ways. One of them goes double, 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 double. And the other type of infinity goes half, 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 half. And this type of Kundalini awakening, because it goes up, it's going to trigger your pineal gland, and you are going to have visions. You are going to see all of these sacred geometrical forms, and you are going to feel very, very different. You are going to experience that there is this energy blowing out of your heart constantly. That went for me probably for nearly 24 hours, and you can see the energetic lines, and you can see that everything is connected. And what truly happens here is that the right side of the brain, that is the emotional part of the brain, becomes very, very active. And this part of the brain is connected to anxiety and is able to kind of experience everything as everything is connected. These type of people are the big picture people. And because the energy goes up, you basically hit something that is upper than these three levels that we have. We have the reptile, the mammalian, and the primate level. And there is one level above that we don't have a name of. These are in gamma brainwaves. And this is what you start getting connected to. And you will be able to connect to entities that are outside of this reality. And you are going to be able to gather information from others, because the energy going up connects energies. So basically you become a bigger version of yourself. And in order to do that, you have to be able to feel your own opposite. So there is always a person who is going to trigger you at certain stages, that is going to trigger things that were hidden from you before. I reached this or achieved this with a twin flame connection. And after this Kundalini awakening, this is what I felt, because this before, what I felt was that something was missing. And when I had my twin flame hugging me, I felt that everything was whole. I felt this wholeness. And after the Kundalini awakening, that wholeness became a part of me. And ever since, I always feel whole. But this is where the delusion is, because I'm not at the end. And this is where it can become a roadblock, because when you feel calm, when you feel that you are whole and you no longer feel that something is missing, that can be something that stops you from moving forward. And that's why we need the mind. So this is the energetic, the emotional self. And now I'm going to talk about the other type of Kundalini awakening, when the mind is able to see what is truly missing. And it goes in a way that half. So basically it goes into depth. It is able to see into your depth, and it goes in reverse of this, and it actually tears you apart. And this is the interesting thing, that when you meet someone who mirrors you in this level, what you will feel in terms of energies, you feel that you can't separate. And this is exactly what you have to do, because this is what's in you, that you can't separate, but you have to. You have to be able to do that. And this is this energy, and this is this type of Kundalini awakening that does that. And this is the difference as well, where you can see that it's coming from two parts of the brain, two different parts, even your Kundalini line, that the energy that goes up, it feels that something has to be fulfilled, and you feel that you're going to lose that something, and you are anxious about it, you are afraid, and your obsession is fueled by fear. And this other version of me, or this other person who mirrored me and triggered me, it kind of felt as anxiety as well, because it was the same, that I became very, very obsessed. What is this thing? And I felt this constant guilt, and that I'm going to be blamed. But this is what I did not pay attention to, that there was an underlying emotion, and that is actually coming from the left side of the brain. This is the analytical part of the brain. And this is where rigidity, this is where the analytical part is coming in. And that is anger. That was underneath that. And that basically fueled this obsession. But here the obsession wasn't for a person. It was for understanding. It's in the Enneagram 5, by the way, when you have to understand. You keep going until you understand it. And the interesting thing is that many times I believed I finally understood what was going on. I was always looking for, okay, what is this thing? What is the similarity? Because this is what I was told, that I have to find a sameness. And I believe that was the goal, because in the previous Kundalini awakening as well, when I saw the sameness exactly on that day, that's when the Kundalini awakening happened. And it happened again, but it was different. The anger part was that I felt that I was forced to do this. This was the anger. Why am I kinda entangled with this person and in this process? This is how I felt. I remember the very, very first thought that came to mind when I was told that yes, we were mirroring, because I started to suspect. The very, very first thought that came up, feeling, it wasn't even a thought, I don't want to babysit, because I already had a Kundalini awakening by that time, and I felt that this was really unfair, because the person was not on my level, although I was told that he was just as aware as I was. But I'm just like, that's impossible. Like, if he didn't have any, if he cannot channel, that's just something that I don't want to get involved in, because I don't know what to do. And now I'm put together with another person who knows even less. And there is a saying in Hungarian, there is no perfect translation to it, but it's like blind leading the blind, but we have two different words explaining the blind. So basically I felt annoyed, and I felt this person as like a nuisance or something like that. That this responsibility was placed on me, because I received this message. I was the one who could channel, and like, I really didn't want that. And even as time passed, he seemed even worse than I thought he was. So this was something that I think I didn't allow myself to feel, probably, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that as soon as I've seen the exact sameness in the unconscious level, in the reptile level, that I have to basically completely split from myself and become my exact opposite. And I was explained how to do that, how to embody that version of myself, that I am able to feel that energy that exists somewhere very outside of me, and I start to mimic it. I start to breathe in that pattern. That's when the energy is going to be embodied in me, and that's when that energy will get alive. And this is when you change on a cellular level, that you have this version of yourself, who I am now, and it becomes kind of like a memory. You will no longer, or I will be no longer, to become that version, because now I am in this different one. And this is what the process is supposed to be. But the Kundalini awakening itself, it didn't come with any visions. It came as an internal feeling. I could feel the energy coming from top to down this time. And it came as peace. So this is very different from the one that goes up, because it comes with euphoria. You feel very, very euphoric, and everything is so colorful and so different, and you feel like powered up and charged up. And this one kind of takes away all the energies that I felt before that made me obsessed to get to know the truth, to get to the bottom of this, to understand it. And it kind of just calmed me down. And you can see it, I can't even make any videos. Like this one was really difficult as well, because I feel I have nothing left to say. And I just feel this peace ever since that makes me kind of not to want to do anything at all. But this is what happens in reality, that when I felt that this energy came down, it actually broke me apart. It created those circumstances, because this is what reality is. Every probability must exist, that from that moment I will have different versions, because I could feel that now I know where I was going and why I was doing what I have to do. So that was a breaking point that creates all of these probabilities, where I both have the probability and the option if I choose to do that. So this is basically free will to remain who I am now, or go forward and go on that path to become another version of myself, because the alignment happened. And also, just following the alignment, I received the information how I have to do that exactly. So basically, these are these two energies. The one that comes down, that breaks you apart, that breaks you away from who you are. And you will be able to grow up these parts that you didn't know you even had. And then as soon as they grow up, you are able to integrate it with this energy that goes up. And this is how you become basically bigger and bigger and bigger. And instead of being a broken wholeness that is teeny tiny and is at a very, very underdeveloped stage, you constantly keep growing and become wholer and wholer and more healed until you heal from your wounds. But in order to heal, you have to feel the pain, because in that pain, that's where you have your memories. That's where your obsessions are. That's where your fears are. That's where your passion is. And when you allow them to fully overtake you, they are going to show you the way. I hope this video was helpful for you, and see you in my next video.